So to counteract this, we need to be inclusive, we need to have inclusive, supportive spaces where men can feel seen and valued without hostility towards women.
So are they recommending that you don't call out this type of behavior?
I don't know if they're recommending that. Personally, I think that a lot of guys fall victim to that kind of rhetoric.
Because they don't have the role model. They don't have role models. People become the model that they imitate.
So
and they feel like
the false role model.
They feel afraid.
Not the people subscribe to it. That's who we need to focus on with our opposition. Because the people who fall victim to it, they truly don't know any better.
Yep.
And we want to help guide them in the right direction and not talk down to them and not be mean to them.
I just learned what the word incel meant, y'all, because I didn't fucking know what the hell that was.
So we didn't know nothing about this red pill shit and incel bullshit. It's just a bunch of cockamamie shit, and I'm already over it and tired.
Welcome back to the Pragmotiv Podcast, where every week we tell it like it is and get you motivated to be the change you seek. We're your hosts, Trey.
And Steph.
Kameron here.
And this is episode 12. 1 week late, but it's still here. So today's theme, y'all, is from breadwinners to bystanders. So, we back and we better, like Bryson Tiller said. Y'all, we so glad to be back. We sorry we missed last week. So, last week, I was sick. I just was not feeling good. And then we had to fix whatever that technical glitch was that we had the week before that, where, I don't know if y'all noticed, but ever so often, it would speed up. Like, we'd be talking and then it would stop. And then speed up. So that took us, what would you say, Kameron, most of the week to figure out what the hell that was?
Too fucking long.
So it was something simple. We just had too many assets in there. That big ugly ass bill bogged down the damn show.
The adventures of
all roads lead back to that cankle bitch.
Ain't no cankles here.
No cankles? No, we don't have
How you got to switch the screen so they could see. No cankles.
No,
back to Maine.
No cankles.
There you go.
Oh, you being petty.
I know. That's my middle name,
His
y'all.
name is Petty Murphy.
All right. So, as y'all could imagine, that just took us too long. We couldn't, we couldn't make the deadline to get the show up for last week. But we back, we better, and we got a packed show this week for y'all. So, first things first, we got to tackle this Trump and Epstein drama. We can't skip over that, especially because he wants us to skip over that.
Right, so we're not.
Whatever that bitch don't want is what I want.
And then we're going to talk about, later on in the show, we're going to talk about the displacement of young men in today's society, and how this can lead to negative outcomes and what can be done about it. Is this displacement perception or reality? But as y'all know, first, we got to get into the briefing room. So let's go. All right, y'all. So I know I said this for the last 2 weeks, but we do have new tech again. Because we got a whole new interface on here.
They can't see that.
So, y'all just bear with me. It might take a little longer to load. All right. So, Donald Trump, Epstein problem, it just won't go away.
No matter how much he wants it to.
Some of y'all might be like me and didn't know who the hell Epstein was because I had no clue. So, as y'all know we do here on this podcast, we're going to break it all down for you and tell you the whole story.
Yep.
So, you got it?
All right. So, it started with a phone call, y'all. In 2005, a young girl named Courtney Wild's mother called the Palm Beach Police Department alleging that Epstein had paid her daughter for a massage. Her daughter, Courtney, was 14 years old at the time. Detective Joe Riccari was the lead investigator, and he gathered accounts from a bunch of other underage girls alleging that they had been paid to give Epstein a massage too. The gist of it is these underage high school girls had been the high school girls would recruit their friends to go to Epstein's mansion in Palm Beach and give massages and get paid like $200.
I'm sensing this wasn't real massages.
No. I mean, it started out that way, but
I mean, if it was, it would still be inappropriate. But
right.
I'm just like, something's telling me it ain't real
massage. It started out as a massage, but wait. At some point in the case, Riccari became fed up with the way the prosecutors in Palm Beach County were handling things. They felt the prosecutors were minimizing the seriousness of the charges and undermining the victim's credibility. Basically, they indicated that they felt the fix had been put in place. In fact, despite all these victims having been interviewed, and it was quite a number of victims that he interviewed, Detective Riccari, Detective Riccari interviewed a bunch of these underage girls and compiled all of these, witness and evidence statements. But Epstein was only indicted on one state charge of, wait for it, solicitation of prostitution. And that was 2006. Not solicitation of prostitution from minors, just solicitation of prostitution. So the chief of police, his name is Michael Reiter, and the detective, Riccari, they referred the case to the FBI. They did this because they felt the state's attorney's office wasn't going to pursue it based on the tone change from the state's attorney. His name was Barry Krischer, who at first Barry Krischer was all gung-ho about it. He was like, oh, we're going to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. When they first started bringing this to the prosecution's office, that this wealthy man was recruiting these girls to give him, quote, massages. But then his tone changed. So in May of 2007, an AUSA, Assistant U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of Florida, submits a draft indictment of Epstein outlining 60 criminal counts. So that was after the chief of police and the lead detective at the Palm Beach Police Department referred him to the FBI. So the FBI was about to indict him on 60 criminal counts. And before an indictment is like submitted, they submit a draft document. Mm-hmm. But then in July, during a meeting with U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, keep that name in your mind, mm-hmm. an offer is made to Epstein and his attorneys for Epstein to plead guilty to just 2 state charges. Then he had to register as a sex offender, that was part of the deal, and do a little bit of jail time. In exchange, the U.S. government would end its investigation. And this deal includes what they call an NPA, a non-prosecution agreement, which grants immunity mm-hmm. to Epstein. 4 of his identified co-conspirators, and any potential co-conspirators, but they don't tell the victims. And they filed the NPA under
and all of this was under
seal.
George W. Bush's Justice Department.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So then in 2008, Epstein pleads guilty to the state charges and is sentenced to 18 months in a minimum security jail. But he's allowed to leave for 12 hours a day. to work. It's a work release at a foundation he recently incorporated. So basically, he incorporated a foundation. So
But I thought he was
rich.
rich. What do you need to work for?
It was his way of getting out of jail, not having to,
If this is kind of off topic, but if he could do that, then we should be able to do that to get Medicaid.
No, you don't. No, you don't have the power, but just wait. So in July, one of the victims filed a federal lawsuit under what they call the Crime Victims' Rights Act, saying that she and the other victims were not informed that the case was being resolved with the plea deal. So according to that act, that law, you have to notify victims if you're going to plea a defendant down. And she filed a lawsuit saying, you didn't notify me. So Epstein is released after just serving 13 months, and a judge orders that the immunity document be made public in response to the lawsuits from other victims and the outcry from news outlets when they started finding out he got such a light sentence. The victims continue to pursue justice in civil court over the next several years, and some get settled, by Epstein, and some he fights because he doesn't want to be made to testify under oath. So fast forward to 2017, Alex Acosta has been tapped by Trump to be his labor secretary. In 2018, the Miami Herald publishes a series of investigative reports into Epstein and the role of Alex Acosta in the whole plea deal. These reports reignite interest in the case, including how powerful people may have known about the activities or even participated in the activities. Then Epstein reaches a last-minute settlement in the defamation case involving the multiple victims. This puts an end to the case that would have brought court testimony from the victims for the first time. So because of the public outcry after the Miami Herald's investigative report, the DOJ, this is 2018 now, the DOJ
So Trump's Justice Department
renews its investigation of the facts, and in July 2019, federal agents from New York arrest Epstein on charges of sex trafficking of minors and conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of minors. Alex Acosta, from pressure from the publicity, he resigns from the Department of Labor secretary position, saying that the Epstein matter is a distraction from his agency's work. On August 10th, Epstein is found dead in his cell at the Metropolitan Corrections Center in New York. It's ruled a homicide, but there are minutes missing from the camera footage.
It's ruled a suicide.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's ruled a suicide. But there's minutes. I'm saying homicide. I'm sorry. There's minutes missing from the camera footage. And there's a renowned forensic pathologist named Michael Bodden who says his findings are more consistent with homicide. So there's some controversy there of whether, he really did commit suicide. But the Department of Justice, they say.
Of course.
So in August of 2019, U.S. District Judge Berman holds a hearing on a motion to dismiss the indictment against Epstein. This is after his death. He allows the victims to give a statement. Thus, finally, the victims get their testimony entered into the record. So that's the timeline of the investigations. And now, here's what Trump has to say about it, has had to say about it over this time frame. Way back in 2002, he was on, he did a interview with New York Magazine, and he himself said that he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. They met back in 1990 when Epstein bought his Palm Beach mansion down the street from Trump's Mar-a-Lago. A search on the internet or social media will turn up numerous photos and videos of them together at social events, like this one. See, Trump, Melania, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell. She was Epstein's girlfriend or his companion, and she's always, in every picture you see of them, somewhere in the background or either right next to them, she's there. Epstein had been quoted as saying he was Trump's best friend for many years. Throughout the 90s, Trump and Epstein, they're known as the party boys around New York. Later, they both invest in modeling agencies. And then Trump buys 3 beauty pageants: the Miss Universe, the Miss USA, and the Miss Teen beauty pageant in the early 2000s. The two were often seen together like they are in this video.
Oh my God, that same dance.
Milk the cow, I'm feeling the song.
What the hell, bro?
So it's not showing it.
I know this is a serious matter, but how you don't change your dance moves in like over 20 something,
Is
fucking
that-
You
30
don't
years?
know how to dance.
What's
Like,
that?
There
Come
she
on.
is. You see her back there?
Ghislaine.
That's Ghislaine in the background. See her?
Oh, this motherfucker
But you,
smile like
but
the
you know
Joker.
what they're doing, huh? I mean, it just looks like they're at a party in this video.
Yeah.
But what you don't see is the throngs of young girls and women that were the contestants, or either it might have been the party where he had the cheerleaders from the NFL.
That's
but-
probably what Tiny Fingers was pointing at.
That is what he was pointing at. And later in another video, you can see him dancing in amongst all the girls, doing that same dance.
Oh my God.
One trick pony, huh?
I guess. So, in fact, in 2005, going back to 2005, he brags on the Howard Stern show. And I probably should have gotten that audio to play. But basically, he bragged when he was on Howard Stern. Y'all know who Howard Stern is?
I vaguely.
He was a show like what's that guy King, the one who wore the suspenders all the time.
Larry King?
Yeah, he's like a Larry King.
Oh.
But Howard Stern had a radio show. I'm mistaken.
Oh,
Not
I
a
was
TV
thinking.
show.
I was thinking Maury. I was thinking like Springer.
No,
Jerry
Stern was more like a talk. I guess he was like a podcaster before it was a thing. But anyway, Trump bragged how he has access to beauty pageant contestants because he owns the pageant. He says he goes into the dressing room while the girls are there with no clothes on to inspect it,
Inspect
the pageant.
the dressing room. Like what possibly could you find in there?
Naked girls. He said it. He said that they have no clothes on.
I don't. Why
Just
is there
a-
not more outrage about this? Like this is.
I don't know.
sickening.
That's just the most
Why
puzzling
didn't
thing, and that's
nobody
why
say something about it or call it out back then?
I saw an interview where they had one young lady who was part of the beauty pageants back then, and she said it made her uncomfortable. She was 21 at the time, but some of those girls, a lot of them were not 21. And she said it made her uncomfortable, but she was like, who are you going to complain to? There's
He
there's
owned
a
it.
couple of documentaries on Netflix. I watched them in preparation for this episode, and she's on that documentary saying it made me uncomfortable, but who you gonna complain to? I mean, he owns the pageant. So fast forward to 2019, when asked, Trump repeatedly asserts he wasn't a fan of Epstein. I wasn't a fan. and retweets a post alleging that Bill Clinton had something to do with his death. So your Justice Department is saying that it was a suicide, but you trying to implicate Bill Clinton. When asked about the retweet in the interview...
But how would Bill Clinton do anything? But go ahead.
Bill Clinton ain't the sitting president of the United States.
And not even the most recent one. I mean, you going way back now.
You going way back, but the thing is, they want to blame the Clintons for everything, which is crazy because Trump's daughter and Bill Clinton's daughter is best friends. Have been for years. He was at their wedding. Mm-hmm. So he was a Democrat before he was a Republican.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that before on the show.
Right. So when asked about that retweet implicating Clinton in the interview, he says, what we're saying is we want an investigation. That is what we're demanding. That is what our great Attorney General Bill Barr is doing. And when he's pressed about whether he really believes the Clintons were involved in the man's death, he doesn't shut it down, but encourages further investigations about whether the Clintons were involved in Epstein's death. So then in the next year, during his re-election campaign, he suggested Epstein may have been killed while in federal custody. So he's perpetuating this while he's out on the campaign trail. His comments went against, like I just said, the findings of Bill Barr and the New York City medical examiner who ruled the death a suicide. And the only time he really referenced Maxwell was when people started asking about her. He said, I wish her well. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell she was convicted and sentenced to 20 years, and she's currently serving in the penitentiary for sex crimes against minors. But you saying you wish her well.
Hillary Clinton is a nasty woman. Kamala Harris is a nasty
Hillary Clinton
woman.
Supposedly had the Pizza Hut, whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
shit,
the Pizza
this
Gate.
bitch, Ghislaine, you wish her well.
Because they were all thick as thieves, quote unquote. They were friends. And now they're saying he might pardon her, but so
Surprised he didn't do that the first time around.
nobody was talking about it the way they're talking about it now. So again, when he ran this last time in 24, he was asked about Epstein. And he said he would be okay to declassify, because he was specifically asked, would he declassify, files? And he said he would declassify JFK files, Martin Luther King files, and yes, he said he would declassify the Epstein files.
Yeah.
So what has he declassified since then, since becoming president
Martin Luther
again?
King, JFK, but not Epstein.
So this clip of the interview was circulated widely by his campaign war room on their social media account. Then on the podcast with Lex Friedman, he made a firm commitment that he would be inclined to release the files and the list of clients that went to the island. I didn't tell y'all about the island because y'all don't really know. That's why I wanted to go through all of this, because a lot of people, especially people y'all age, won't know the origin of this.
Yeah, I haven't been the least bit interested in it, but now that it's blown up, and of course us having to cover it.
Right. So then in June, after Pam Bondi and Kash Patel told him he was mentioned in the Epstein files, he started to add qualifiers when asked about the files, saying, he was concerned about the impact of revealing more material on third parties and the possibility that there might be phony stuff.
But what about all them Social Security numbers you released?
Phony stuff? Nah. Phony stuff in the government's investigative files? More recently, he said that he supports the release of credible information and pertinent grand jury testimony. Well, grand jury testimony is not what MAGA wants.
Yeah, because
they want what you promised them.
The files.
But First of all, I got two things to say on that. Number one, Donald Trump. I mean, isn't he just a poster child for credible information? And then secondly, MAGA. Y'all thought y'all was going to get what he promised y'all? Y'all thought he was going to get in there and deliver on what he said?
How many times does he have to put a giant middle finger to y'all face for y'all to realize that he don't give a shit about y'all?
About nobody.
No.
Don't care if you voted for him or not.
The only reason why he ran for president is to stay the fuck out of jail, which he was successful in doing. That's all he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, in my opinion, you could see how Trump is so infatuated with TV and movies. Now, doesn't this read like a movie?
Oh, yeah.
And in a movie, the president would have a person who is problematic unalived in jail.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
What you saying? He on some scandal shit?
That's up his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
It's alleged. And we're just putting it out there. Make your own
Like I said,
conclusions
in my humble
with
opinion.
It's our opinion. But
And I think that's what the consensus is. And that's why these people want these damn files.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just laughing. I wish we did have the footage of him overseas. I forget where he is right now.
Scotland.
But he over there trying to get away from it.
Yeah,
he's still in Scotland?
That's what they asked
I'm not sure where he is, but he was in Scotland and the UK.
I thought it seemed a little less irritating over here.
So he and his people in his administration can't seem to get their shit together and get on the same page.
Was it ever together?
On January 30th, during his Senate confirmation hearing for FBI Director Kash Patel, vowed to expose the Epstein connections, because the whole conspiracy theory from the right is that there's a cabal of Democratic, powerful Democrats that are a pedophile ring, that are abusing children. That's the conspiracy theory. Then on February 21st, Pam Bondi says the client list is sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive of President Trump. Now, they've since walked that back, saying she didn't mean there was a client list on her desk. She meant the entire tranche of documents.
Because when you don't mean it's a client list, you say there's a client list on my desk.
But she says the entire tranche of documents are on her desk.
Yeah,
but later, she says there's thousands of videos. The tens of thousands of videos was on your desk too.
That's one
damn
fat
bitch, how
ass
big
desk.
of a desk you got?
So then about a week later, at the end of February, she handed out binders.
Full of women? I had
Binders binders to the MAGA influencers. She invited all these MAGA influencers to the White House and handed them these binders.
See, that proves it. They do huddle up in fucking rooms together and fucking get their story straight.
And you should have seen their faces when they got these binders and they were walking out of the White House. They seemed so happy, but the binders were just full of already publicly available information. So pretty much probably the information I just finished talking about. They get pissed. And that's how we're gotten to this point of them pressing him to release those files and being mad, and they all over the podcasts and social media. You know, Diane Bongino, Joe Rogan, all of them are calling for him to do what he said he was going to do.
Well, he ain't gonna.
No. Because
and we told y'all.
He knew. I mean, it's evident from any cursory search of any Google, Bing, pick one.
Bing,
DuckDuckGo. If that's a search engine, I keep hearing that.
bing bong. What he be saying?
Bing, bang, bong, bing. I mean,
bing, bing.
Seriously, you do any type of search, you're going to find photos of him with this man. You lived in the same area in Florida. You rubbed elbows with the same people. And rubbing elbows back then with Epstein doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. But the other people who rubbed elbows with him, I've seen pictures of Epstein. In the same picture, I see other celebrities like Dr. Ruth Westheimer and other actors, other politicians, Bill Clinton. I've seen the flight
But
logs.
they're so hypocritical because didn't
Bill
he
Clinton
Photoshop?
is not saying
He photoshopped-
shut up talking about Epstein. The only one saying shut up talk about Epstein
The
is
only
Trump.
one who's going through these great lengths and doing all this floundering and flip-flopping
It's
and
Trump.
waffling is Trump.
And didn't he Photoshop Kamala Harris with Diddy, trying to say,
How did I miss
What?
that? What?
yeah, I think he did that a
Oh,
few months
you
ago.
fucking orange bastard.
So he trying to,
Motherfucker,
You
you,
so
we got
hypocritical.
actual pictures of you with the white Diddy, so shut the fuck up.
So they just keep going back and forth. She told him he was in the files. And then she told reporters there are tens of thousands of videos. And then in June, remember when he and Musk were fighting? Elon tweeted.
how could we forget?
Elon tweeted,
Lovers quarrel.
Trump hasn't released the files because he's in them. Then the administration officially said there was no client list and Epstein's death was a suicide. And so then that brings us to this deflection campaign like we was just talking about. And he's just been constantly trying to change the conversation. But nobody is letting go of this because you stoked this conspiracy theory for years. Literally 4 years.
You teased and clickbaited all of these years. So don't get mad when people are upset at you for not delivering. And Democrats, we need to hammer this shit all the way through 2026 and 2028.
Absolutely.
We need to be on his ass. We want to see the
Hopefully.
files.
Hopefully they will. I just don't know that the leaders of this party will stay on that message like they should.
better.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So
And
what?
then, I'm
I'm sorry. What do y'all think? I didn't tell y'all this part. The FBI, they took hundreds of agents off their various posts to go through these files and flag anything that mentioned him or reference to him. What you think they did with that information?
Got rid of it.
They probably shredding it, incinerating it. But
Flushing
my
it down the
bigger
toilet like
question,
he did in the first term.
my biggest question is: you taking these FBI agents
Probably ain't
away
eating
from what?
Right.
We still have threats to our homeland security, but you're not doing nothing to stop potential terror attacks. This is the problem, and this is what the masses, no one's comprehending, because us regular people who don't have to think about this every day, our biggest concern is getting off of work, figuring out what we're going to eat for dinner. It ain't worrying about who
Avoiding
might blow
road
up the side of the
mines.
road.
And Americans just overall have a false sense of security. We think we're safe here. But
And we're only safe
We're
because
only
of the
safe-
hard work of the men and women in our military, in the
Law enforcement,
in law
federal
enforcement,
And it
like
all goes
FBI.
back to
These
our,
people, it's preventative. It's not always the after the attack. You know, that's important too, but the goal is to not have an after the attack. You shouldn't have to do something after an attack.
Yeah.
So when
And
you
the
ask
president
victims
doesn't
of
even
these
know.
terrorist attacks how they feel, their lives are changed forever. So this is not important for you to be taking all of these agents away to remove your name
Right.
from shit.
Because if you're not
You did the
guilty, why does it
crime.
matter if
Do the
you know
fucking time.
if you didn't do what Epstein did,
Then you
then
should
why
have
are you
nothing to
worried
worry
about your name being in the files? Why are you worried about people talking about it?
And it must be really bad because he do a whole bunch of other fucked up shit.
Well, look at
and then
is
he
he
go
scared?
and he go on the media and just spin it.
And brag about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he bragged on Howard Stern's show about being able to go in a dressing room. The lady that I was telling y'all about that I saw on the documentary, the interviewer asked her, well, was that a normal occurrence for men, to come in while y'all were getting ready to go out? And she was like, no. No men would come in there. The only people in there was the female chaperones. Again, because some of those girls were not of age. So they had female chaperones. So you're doing a lot of creepy shit. You've been doing a lot of creepy shit. You've been talking about your daughter in a way that is inappropriate.
Yep.
You've been hanging out with other people who do creepy shit.
Yep.
If it walk like a creep, dance like a creep, it's a creep.
So when you take all of this info and look at it in succession and in context, it paints a very troubling, even sickening picture. And of course, then he does something predictable. Like,
Suing Fox.
yeah, Rupert Murdoch.
So
His
now
friend, supposedly.
he's suing Murdoch, which owns Fox News.
Right.
He owns Fox News. I'm fucking that up, but that's the point I'm trying to drive
Right.
home to
He
you.
also
That's his
owns-
friend.
Right.
So
We suing our friends out here now, I guess.
Well, let's clarify. Let's be totally
they're not friendly,
yes.
but
But they're not friends, but Murdoch has been a friend to him.
yeah. But here's the thing. The New Orleans in me just wouldn't let me continue to allow something I own to be favorable to him. If I was Murdoch,
Yeah.
the day after, Fox News would have turned into MSNBC.
And this just proves we need more New Orleanians everywhere, because shit just would not be happening this way.
So Murdoch also owns the Wall Street Journal and I think one of them New York things.
The New York Post.
So here's what CNBC...
And he owns a publication, a UK publication. That's like the Post.
I
Is
wonder
it
if that was
BBC?
one of the ones... Probably not BBC, but that's probably one of
It's
the
not
ones
BBC.
that he was...
But he owns a rag, quote unquote.
Yeah, that
like
was
the
talking-
Washington Post.
talking bad
not the
about
Washington
Meghan
Post.
Markle.
I'm sorry, the New York Post.
That was probably
But
one of the ones that was talking
Washington
bad
Post
about...
is Bezos, ain't it?
Yeah, now. Okay, so here's the article from CNBC. Trump sues Murdoch for $10 billion over the Wall Street Journal story on Epstein's birthday letter. President Donald Trump sued Rupert Murdoch for libel after his Wall Street Journal published an article saying Trump sent Jeffrey Epstein a, quote, bawdy letter for Epstein's 50th birthday. The journal reported that the letter, allegedly sent in 2003, was among documents included in evidence assembled by federal criminal investigators as part of their probe of Epstein. So, number one, everyone knows that Trump will sue at the drop of a hat. So, they know better. And I mean, they know they need to have their ducks in a row. And if they're going to say anything negative, he probably gonna sue you.
Right. So, wouldn't you think he had his ducks in a row?
I mean, I want to say he sue them before?
I don't remember him
I don't
suing the Wall
remember.
Street Journal.
Not the Wall Street Journal, but I want to say he sued Murdoch before.
I'm not sure.
Didn't he try to sue them? I don't know. I don't have the facts, but
I
I
don't
think
know.
he tried to sue them
People
because they
need to
called
start-
the election for Biden.
Yeah,
Because they was
people
the
need to
first
start
one.
Oh, yeah.
countersuing his ass, because Midas Touch did that.
Yeah.
Midas Touch was willing to go toe to toe with that bitch, and he backed out of that real fast.
That's what you do with the discovery. So the $10 billion lawsuit claims the reporters falsely represent as fact that Trump drew a naked woman's breast and signed his name Donald below her waist, mimicking pubic hair. Cameron, when he sent a letter to Epstein for his 50th birthday back in 2003. So now I ask you, given that we just went over what we just went over, does that sound like something Trump would do? Innocent little Trump.
Shit, yeah.
Well, of course.
I mean, of course, his signature looks like pubic hair anyway.
I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, he is denying it, of course. He's saying that let me get this right now. I never wrote a picture.
Yeah, I told Cameron that like 2 weeks ago. Who the fuck writes pictures?
I never wrote a picture in my life.
That's something you say when you real nervous and you caught off guard. You don't know how to respond.
I don't write pictures.
But then cue all of the news outlets on their shows after he said, I never wrote a picture, of all of the times he's drawn pictures, like to supposedly donate for charity auctions. He draws pretty damn well.
What about the picture he drew with the Sharpie sending the hurricane a different direction? What about that? You didn't write that either? So apparently on Truth
Next time
Social,
a hurricane coming, I'm going to draw an extra track so it'll go to Mar-a-Lago.
apparently on Truth Social, he said that he looked forward to Murdoch having to answer questions on the O. But
Okay.
bitch, that goes both ways.
Right. And I'm going to use a term that we used to use when we would be talking about getting into a fight or adversarial situation with somebody. You got to bring ass to get ass. So if you want Rupert Murdoch to be deposed, you got to be deposed too.
So we'll have to see if Murdoch is going to follow ABC and CBS, Paramount, whatever the fuck they going by these days. About to be Skydance.
Nah.
And settling, or are they going to like get it thrown out like they should?
Down is up, up is down, because my ass is literally sitting here rooting for Murdoch. What kind of shit is that?
I don't think he know who he playing with.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to bet.
I mean, Rupert Murdoch is 90-something years old, but his sons are not. And they're the ones that's in charge of the empire now.
Yeah, but are they savagey enough? Are they going to stand on business?
Time will tell. Time will tell. So now, let's move on to today's theme. Let's talk about men and how they're doing. How y'all doing? How you doing?
Depression.
Feeling like shit.
All right, y'all. So let's see. The vanishing role, men and workforce displacement. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, men between the ages of 25 and 54 are dropping out of the workforce. The Bipartisan Policy Center did a survey. So take a look at this alarming chart. The chart is depicting two categories: men looking for work and those not looking for work. Those looking for work are in blue, and those not looking are in red. 48% of those looking for work are not finding work. 16% who are looking are having physical, mental, or behavioral health issues. And now look at the tallest red bar. Of those not looking, 57% say they are having physical, mental, or behavioral health issues. So as of August 2024, about 10.5% of prime age men, roughly 6.8 million men, are neither working nor looking for work. The reasons for the decline include educational gaps, technological disruption, impacting male-dominated industries, skill mismatches, health issues, and social dynamics. Education. So fewer men are enrolling in college, like we talked about in one of the first episodes of this podcast.
It's mostly women. Yeah.
Yep. And this has been declining for more than a decade, with more women than men enrolling and obtaining degrees over the last 40 years. But men used to graduate high school and be able to get good, stable, decent paying jobs. So in industry, male-dominated industries like manufacturing and construction, where there were good paying jobs, have declined, and manufacturing has declined due to technology advances and automation, globalization, and shifts in consumer behavior favoring services over goods. Which to me, I kind of have a problem with that statement, because I'm like, I don't really know of any goods that we have shifted to in favor of services. I just think that in general, we have more services to choose from. I mean, maybe you could look at Netflix and say that before you used to get stuff on a CD, so I guess that was a good. And now it's...
But I know where you're going with that, but it is a service economy now, whereas, 40, 50 years ago, well, more like 60, 70 years ago, it was manufacturing. But those men don't have those vocational choices as much as they used to go work in a factory and get a good paying, good benefit job to support their family.
Yeah. So then it says that young men aren't working the construction jobs, and this is partly because of the decline in vocational programs that teach these skills, like what you just said, and partly because it seems younger men are not working those types of hard labor jobs, and partly because there aren't that many of those jobs because of the higher interest rates and tighter credit to fund those projects. So we know someone who works in cement, and they say that most of the guys working in that industry are in their 50s.
Yeah.
So,
this person says that the majority of the people he works with are older, and the young guys are not, they're not trying to, I'm paraphrasing, but his exact comment is them young guys are not interested in doing that kind of work.
And I think part of that has to go with overall, in general, where the economy is. Because if you are going to tell somebody to be outside in this god-awful heat and work more than 8 hours, because your hours really aren't stable anymore. I mean, a lot of jobs are not adhering to that. And they probably want to put you on salary, because you're either at either opposite ends of the spectrum. Either you are hourly and they're keeping your hours less than 40 to control their expenses and not have to pay you health benefits.
And they don't want you working overtime. If they will ask you to stay a couple hours longer, but then tell you to knock off a couple hours early the next day to make it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's been since I was working in banking. I would routinely have to stay late for what we used to call call parties, and there was strictly no overtime. Even if a customer came in at 1 minute to 5 before the doors closed, we had to service the client, but you couldn't put that overtime.
So you literally had to open a bank account at 4:59 p.m. when the bank closed at 5. Well, what the fuck happened to that service? Because I went at 4:30 and they was like, "Oh, it's too late for us to open an account."
Yeah, well, they didn't allow us to do that back then. I don't know, different bank, because that was a different bank than the one you talking about.
No, I'm talking about the same bank.
Oh, well, it has changed, but it wasn't that way when I worked there.
So it takes like at least 30 minutes to open an account.
Oh, sure. And back then it used to take longer than that.
And you would have to stay and wouldn't get paid.
I would have to take hours off the next day. It's like, oh, you stayed over till 6 o'clock, so you come in later. In within that same time period.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
So you're at that end of the spectrum, or you're at the other end where you're salaried and now they feel like they
could call
own
you
you.
whenever.
They could call you at 3:00 in the morning. Look at this company phone we're giving you. Don't you love our benefits?
And see,
Answer that bitch at 3:00 in the morning.
Know what I mean?
Well, what we
I
just
would have got my ass fired. Because nobody should be
We're
calling
always
me.
talking
this is
about
why
this with you,
the
Cameron.
difference in generations.
I know, but don't nobody need to be calling me at 3:00 in the morning. If anybody calling me at 3:00 in the morning, they getting cursed out.
I haven't had that experience even with the jobs that I've worked of late. But to y'all's point, when I worked in banking, that's what we was just talking about, was one of the reasons why I switched over to the other side of the company and stopped working for the bank side and started working for the investment side, because it gave me more autonomy. You know, I could set up my schedule the way I needed it to be set up, as far as when I saw clients, what time my appointments were. I wasn't on the clock, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
I remember you was able to drop me off at school and pick me up. And
But
stuff.
my manager told me, because I still had a manager, my manager told me, you don't have a set schedule. I'm not telling you which one of your branches you need to be in, because I had multiple branches. But you better be there. You better be one of the first ones in the door for the morning meeting, because we all had morning sales meetings with the branch staff. And you better be one of the last ones out the door. So if, I couldn't just come in at 9 or 10 and be gone at 3. I still had to. So you are putting in more than 8 hours.
Yeah. And you ain't really getting compensated. I mean, at least in that respect, you had the option, to make it up in commission. But for
That
most
was really how you
salaried
made your
people,
money.
like the way that the law is, if you're salaried, then they can call you at any time. So I'm putting it out there because I'm a believer in speaking and manifesting what you want. When the Pragmotiv Podcast has employees, we might be running over one night in recording and need to ask employees to stay. But when we hire people, that's going to be explained to them that this is a possibility. Sometimes we may run over the set hours that you normally work. But I'm the type of person where, okay, if we ran over, you're salaried. I'm respectful of your time. But most people nowadays aren't. They just feel like, okay, you work for me, I own you. Not we're in a partnership together. Let's try to make this work. Let me respect your time like I want you to respect my time.
Right.
And it's just no mutual respect, which is what we're about to get into some more as we delve into this topic.
But you'll find that the places that employees, when they're asked, that they give high marks to, is an environment like what you described it, where they feel like they're seen, they feel like they're valued, they feel like they're not just some cog in a wheel making money for the company, so.
Yep. So,
That's the perfect segue to going in.
To the no space to fill, the emotional displacement. So for the guys who are looking, they can't find jobs, and a lot of them have stopped looking because of mental and emotional issues. So apparently, mental health resources aren't tailored to men to make them feel masculine safe, quote unquote. So that was something that, I could identify with. I didn't really have a name for it, being masculine safe, but
Was that a feeling that y'all?
that was definitely
felt?
a feeling that I felt going into
Because
therapy.
traditionally, men don't seek mental health help.
Yeah. And that's what I felt going into me seeking therapy. I felt like it really wasn't going to work. I'm not a person who talks about my feelings. I more just stay quiet. And I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's what I've found, and that's what's been the general consensus, that women are more prone to talk about their feelings, and men tend to hold their feelings in. And I think that society makes men feel like they can't express their feelings.
Yes.
They make y'all feel as though that's weak.
Yep. And a perfect example, and we're going to be talking about this in an upcoming episode because, like we mentioned, I think last week or the week before that, the 20th anniversary of Katrina is coming up. So after Katrina hit and we had lost everything, our whole lives, I'm in a different place and I just can't control my feelings. And I was just crying. I was 11 years old at the time.
I was about to say you was 11.
Yep. So I'm crying in class and I just feel the judgment coming from the other guys in my class. And I'm in 6th grade. And this toxic masculinity, the stereotype of what you're supposed to be, it was just coming out. And they was judging me. The girls in my class was judging me. Even the teachers. I got put out of class for disrupting the class one time.
And told to go where? And why you didn't tell me that?
I don't even remember. I wouldn't come home
They
and say
didn't tell you to
nothing.
go to the counselor?
No, she told me to go in the hallway.
Really?
And when I would go to the counselor, the
Where that bitch
counselor
at?
ended up telling me in October 2005 that, Katrina, it's time for me to get over that.
Bitch, my house still got water in it. What the fuck?
This is what happened to me. So, yeah, I'm going to go into more detail about this
It's a
in
good
that
thing
episode.
that I was only 4.5 at this time. Because if I was Cameron of today, that bitch probably would have got told something.
Yeah, and they would have had a field day with you. But anyway, I felt really bad about that. And I think
It's
I
something that you've
internalized
carried
it. It broke me in a sense to where I told myself, I'm never going to cry again. And when I went to 7th grade, the next year, I still had a lot of those emotions. Even though we had moved back to New Orleans, I still, being back home, you saw the devastation up close. You would see parts of the city that you remember how they was before that would never look the same. Like when I would get off from school and stand on the side of the school to wait for you to come pick us up, you could still see the water line on the side of the building. So these things was just a part of daily life, and it still will remind you of it, and it still would make you emotional.
Shit, there's still spots in New Orleans right now that you can see a distinct water line.
Yeah. So these things, I told myself I would never cry. And to this day, I've only cried probably maybe twice since then. It was me being overwhelmed when the doctors told me you wasn't going to make it. I remember driving back home and just not being able to control my tears, but I still wasn't uncontrollably crying like I was when I was 11. And then last year losing dad. So it changes you. The societal pressure of what a man should be is unrealistic. And it's harmful.
Yeah, because I never saw.
Like I've seen it in our own family. I'm sorry. At Dad's funeral, the men in our family wearing sunglasses in the church
Yeah.
and not wanting to.
I think
show
a lot of
it.
black
I was
people
about to say
wear
it.
sunglasses to funerals.
Yeah, because they
I could tell by the looks on their face that they was trying not to.
Yeah,
And it was even making me feel pressured into not crying, but I just couldn't help it.
Yeah. And I have started to bottle up a lot of stuff. I only broke down once at the funeral. I had a very prominent, don't know why I did that to myself, but I had to speak. And I just told myself, it brought me back to that moment. I'm not going to break down in front of all of these people. So I had to pull it together. But standing there on the altar, looking to the left of me, seeing him lay there was just very overwhelming. It took a lot of internal strength not to. I'm sorry, I don't mean to upset you, Mom.
That's okay. I mean, I was just gonna say that my own dad, I never saw my daddy cry. Mm-hmm. Only time I saw my daddy cry was when he buried his mama and when he buried his sister. That was it.
Yeah. So that does
never
damage.
seen my brother cry.
That does
never
damage to a person's mental health, because just because we're men doesn't mean we don't have feelings and the same feelings. It's not like our feelings are different, you know. So it goes on to say there's a definite stigma for men seeking mental help, and vulnerability in men is still mocked and dismissed by society. And there's also the fatherlessness effect, both not having a father and or being shut out of the father role through custody or family court. Then there's the social isolation factor. So men ages 18 to 30 spend nearly 20% more time alone in 2023 compared to 2019. And this isolation has profound effects on mental health and social development.
So I got something to say about the fatherlessness effect. So something that really, really rubs me the wrong way is when couples who are no longer couples, when the child is used, because they say the role of being shut out of the father. Nobody should ever shut a child's father out of their life unless that father is a distinct threat to the child.
Yeah.
Because you're doing harm to the child, but you're also doing harm to the man, and you're perpetuating this
cycle.
The cycle. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, I have a real problem with children being used as pawns or as weapons against men in the context of their being able to see their child or, you know, interact with their child. Or I just think that's wrong. And I just think women need to stop doing that. You know.
I also think,
but it's not only women, the court systems do it too.
Yeah. The court systems do it. And it's also in how these things are portrayed. It's how they're portrayed. Because when I started YouTube, I realized how, I could take this one moment and I could choose to make it something that it wasn't and get these many views, or make it be what it was and not. So basically, in essence, clickbaiting. So the perfect example was last fall when we had that hurricane scare. And they didn't really know exactly where it was going. And that morning, I had a procedure at the hospital. So I was already scheduled to be at the hospital. And while I was at the hospital, all of these hurricane warnings went off on our phones, like the emergency alert stuff. So I had a choice to make. I could have made it seem like I got sick in the middle of a hurricane and had to go to the hospital, or I could have did what I ended up doing, which is saying I was at the hospital in the middle of a hurricane warning, which was true. But again, this is how you have to do things in society in this day and age. So bringing that back to what we're talking about now, I don't think a lot of women are inherently saying, oh, cut men out. Let's cut the father out. I think that's a narrative that's being pushed by some.
I don't mean to say that it's a conscious thing. I just think that...
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that's what has been going on online, is that a lot of these guys have been getting online and saying, you know, I didn't do nothing, but my baby mama took my son away. While that could happen, I'm not saying it never happens. I'm not saying there's no effed up women out there who would do that. I just don't
Like somebody I know.
I just don't think that it's something that's normal. I mean, I always look at things and be like, there has to be a reason for most people to do shit that other people would perceive as being fucked up. So, I don't know. That's just my take on it. I think just like with how women have reacted to men and being toxic, like if you compliment a girl on how she looks, Instagram would tell you can't do that now because you'll get canceled.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us take that to heart. I mean, I've even not said things like that. Even to girls who I could feel was kind of flirting with me, but I didn't really know, and I didn't want to cause a problem or, make it awkward in a situation where it didn't have to be.
Yeah.
So these are things that we live with now that I think past generations just didn't, because they just didn't care, maybe, And
now we pass. So many things is different. You don't ask for phone numbers no more. It's like, what's your Instagram?
Yeah. Why y'all don't ask for each other's phone numbers?
Because it's seen as invasive. Because it's like, why would you call me? But I've had some girls tell me.
That's puzzling to me. I guess
I've had some girls tell me that's a turn off. If you don't ask for her number, then she think you're not serious, or that's childish.
So it's like, we all know what the fuck
I don't know
to
what to do. I don't want to come across as too presumptuous, because for me, like personally, I would prefer a text over a call. That's just me. But if I know the person, like obviously, I know it's a different situation, like between a romantic relationship and like brother relationship. But I talk to you most of the time. I don't text you a lot, but sometimes I text you. Like if I'm in the doctor's office or, somewhere where I'm in a waiting room and I'm bored, I might text you stuff. But I just innately prefer texting because it's something you could do while you're doing something else. Whereas if I'm talking on the phone,
they call me. If somebody texts me and then they call me, I'm like, why is they calling me? I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. And it is a generational thing because Mama did that.
It's definitely
she did that the other week because she was texting somebody and they text her back. And then she was like, she was driving and she was like, Trey, dial their number for me. And I was like, they just text you back. Why are you calling?
Why are you calling them?
I could text them back for you. I know you're driving.
Well, I couldn't text, and the only way for me to call was on the call speaker thing.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like, for our generation, that's like, I just texted you and now you're calling?
That's like
like when you foreign to me. That's so strange.
That's like when you getting gas and then it say, see the cashier.
Oh, I hate that shit. But I'm so paranoid about getting bad gas.
Well, you should be. You got a reason to be.
Yeah, because that just literally probably happened to me. I'm going to talk about it in my vlog.
Like 90%.
Because I'm trying to get back to vlogging. But I'm so paranoid about it that every time I go get gas, I make sure I get a receipt. Because apparently your insurance does not cover if you get bad gas. Like you got to go to the state and get reimbursed, which I have no
fat chance
fucking confidence in that.
Not with this leprechaun in office.
Any state, shit. I ain't trusting no state government. But anyway, I hate that. Like, I do not feel like going inside.
Yeah, I hate it too.
And waiting in line. Like, can
Just
y'all
for a
just
receipt.
please
Why can't you
restock your damn
your
receipt paper? So, anything else we had to say on that?
No.
The last thing I wanted to say, now that I'm looking at it, is that the social isolation factor, I think, is because of the things we was just saying. It's like, do we know what to say? Some guys seem to be, it comes more easy to them. They don't really care, I guess, if the girl is uncomfortable. That's just not my, I don't know. I don't know how to word it. It's just, I'm very cognizant about how other people feel. So I wouldn't want to make anyone uncomfortable or put someone else in an awkward position. And I think not just romantically, but in other parts of my life, that does make me get left out a lot of the time because I think about other people. I'm too empathetic, I guess, that you could say.
Don't ever say you're too empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
You don't think you could be too empathetic?
I think you can let your empathy make you accept certain things that might be detrimental, perhaps.
I'm definitely not that. I'm definitely not a pushover, especially after everything I've been through and everything like with Katrina. Katrina taught me not to be a pushover. After the way I was treated, when we got back, I was just like, never again. So I really did change in a lot of ways. I matured, but again, I was just 11. So
it's crazy
a lot
how
of that was
trauma
probably
does that
natural.
to you.
But
because when I was going to that school and getting bullied that way, I was a pushover back then and didn't really do much.
Well,
But now
you
if
was
they
in
try
5th grade.
6th grade,
Sixth
but
grade.
now
so
they better
both
watch
of our
out.
6th grade years was fucked up.
Yeah.
Defining moments.
Why we always gotta get the same shit? We look alike, then we get the same ailments. So you got asthma, I got asthma, you got allergies, I got allergies. And now both our 6th grade school years was fucked up.
Well, at least you don't have an immune condition.
Yeah.
So, do y'all as men actually, I mean, is that, they say men ages 18 to 30 spend more time alone in 2023?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because we don't really open up with our friends. I mean,
But
I'm
I
just
think
speaking
y'all
from...
whole generation, no matter men or women, are socially isolated.
We are. And it's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's getting worse because I was reading an article, and that's one thing I wanted to include in the show, but I was sick and I forgot to tell y'all about it. But it was about some district in Tennessee saying that doctor's notes will no longer be accepted.
Oh yeah, you did mention
as
that.
To excuse a child's absence.
Children get sick. They're in the classroom with other sick kids.
Now, for me, this really pissed me off because of my history, because of how much I've struggled with different ailments like my asthma, and not just being regular asthma where you can just take your inhaler and move on. Me having to miss so much school and then ending up not being able to go in person to school the last 2 years of 3 years of my high school career. But to say that a doctor can't even excuse a child, now you're making kids who have the common cold or who have the flu come to
RSV,
school
any number of things. Measles.
and make everybody else sick, which is going to make them go home and make their family sick,
Right.
which is going to make the parents go to work and make them sick. You're making the entire fucking community sick because you concerned about your attendance rates. You need to find a better way
How
to fix
about
this shit.
y'all
than
stop
that.
trying to tell parents how to parent? If the parents see fit for their child to be out of school, then that is their prerogative as the parent.
Exactly.
Why is the community or the school board or whatever?
It ain't even the community. It's the damn superintendent.
Yeah.
Why are you insinuating yourself into other people's household? Bitch, mind your business.
So now what's happening? Parents are saying, fuck this. I'm homeschooling my kids.
And now we're going to have a generation of more socially awkward kids.
Yes.
I was homeschooled after that ordeal.
Yep.
And I feel like I have deficits in social
Yeah. And
situations.
we don't even have a lot of organizations anymore where kids could be like, okay, well, you're homeschooled, but you could go to this after school sports club or this after school civics group or something. You know, I'm not saying that all kids have to be involved in sports, but just anything. You don't have these things anymore because of a lot of different factors. So what are you going to do? you're just going to have people who don't know how to talk to other
I mean,
people.
you still have a lot of youth sports, but it's more on an individual league level. You know what I mean?
Locally, all I really see is stuff that's funded
They got
by
AAU
the
and stuff
government.
like that. No, they
You don't
have
think?
AAU
Okay.
and other stuff like that. But I get your point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it says how male alienation fuels extremism. So the alienation that many guys feel is one reason why some of us have gravitated to movements like MAGA and cultural phenomenon like incels. Not this guy.
Do y'all feel alienated as men?
I think in certain aspects, but I'm trying not to. I don't want to insult the people or the guys that do feel alienated by saying what I'ma say. But my emotional intelligence is advanced enough to understand that the alienation I feel is not because of other people or groups' liberation.
Yeah,
So,
that's
okay.
the problem.
And that's what we're going to tackle with this. But I just learned what the word incel meant, y'all, because I didn't fucking know what the hell that was. So
We didn't know
apparently-
nothing about this red pill shit and incel bullshit. It's just a bunch of cockamamie shit, and I'm already over it and tired.
So apparently incels is an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually and typically associate with views that are hostile towards women and men who are sexually active.
It ain't the women or the men who get fun time. I don't know how to algo speak. Fuck. But it ain't their fault. It sounds like a you problem, bro. I don't want to insult nobody. But
Well,
how can you put that on somebody else?
I do think that's where the problem is in society, is people like us saying it sounds like a you problem. I'm not saying that we meant to say that to hurt them, but we do need to recognize. But we're going to get into that when we talk about how we could fix this. But it also talks about red pill, which originates from the Matrix movie, where the red pill represents enlightenment and accepting harsh truths, and the blue pill represents comfort and blissful ignorance. But within online discourse, especially conservatives and misogynists, the red pill represents their movement and often involves the outright disrespect of women, like believing feminism causes a power shift, and other nonsense that often attacks the marginalized groups in the country. So they identify with these groups because they feel seen and heard and accepted. So the red pill culture, for example, includes influencers like Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines. And they're the type of influencers we're talking about. Myron Gaines and Walter Weeks, Fresh Weeks, are co-hosts of Fresh and Fit, a popular podcast offering advice on dating, masculinity, and success in a, quote, feminized world. These spaces claim to, quote, empower men but they capitalize and use our insecurity and resentment to promote toxic adversarial ideologies. The message of Gaines and Weeks is that women are manipulative and untrustworthy. And what makes a man is how he dominates, his wealth and his sexual conquest. So how in the same breath can you say women are manipulative and untrustworthy, but then want to sexually conquest them?
Yeah, it sounds like you
a little confused.
Yeah.
Because that is the whole cultural that
If
you
you
see
hate women so much,
perpetuated.
then to me-
Women are objects for men's pleasure. We are there. We only exist to be for men's pleasure. That's the only way I can put it. That's clearly how Donald Trump sees women.
Yeah. And to me, these things spread like wildfire. And even guys who don't necessarily 100% agree with the viewpoints of them two we just talked about, to me, their influence.
It becomes like an infection that spreads.
Yeah. Because I hear a lot of guys, like when I go to the barbershop and they talking about girls, they say, females, these females. And to me, that's so... I don't even know what the word I'm looking for to describe that, but it's so impersonal. Like, why are you talking about girls like that?
In a scientific term.
Do you go around saying, males? You don't do that.
Yeah.
When you talk about guys, you say, oh, my brother, my friend, my dude, my bro.
But with women, these females. Like, if y'all are so annoyed with women, why do you...
They talk about them like they another species.
Yeah, then why are you chasing them so much? Why do you have a whole fucking podcast dedicated to how to get women if you can't stand them so much?
Good question.
These are kind of... In an earlier episode, I apologized to women on behalf of men for this. Mm-hmm. These the kind of dudes I was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
these Myron fresh and fuck stupid asses. I'm sick of them.
I definitely
Stale and fuck. Ren and Stimpy.
Stale and fuck. So, I mean, is this literally all they talk about on their podcast? Is how fucked up women are and how manipulative women are? And
So I guess I did not do my homework, partially because I was sick. I guess my algorithm knows better because I would bat the fuck out of it. Because it never recommended these people to me. So I did not know about them.
It recommended to me the people talking shit about these dudes. Okay. And that's how I found out about it.
Because I didn't know.
Shout out to Swoop and Abba and Preach. I watched them.
I didn't know who the hell they were. Yeah, so Swoop is one of the videos you included for today. Okay. So we're going to get to that in a minute, y'all.
She did a good documentary about this.
So, let's see. Hold on. Let me get back to the place where I was. Okay. So, why is it harmful? So, this encourages transactional adversarial relationships, like we was just talking about. The relationship between men and women is not supportive. It's a battle. Any gains made by women will hurt men, according to
Why does it have to be zero sum?
Exactly. Reinforces misogynistic stereotypes and shames emotional vulnerability in men. It encourages men to view women as objects and shames men who show their vulnerability or sensitivity. So yeah, they don't like men like me. And normalizes verbal abuse and humiliation of women guests as, quote, entertainment. So consequently, it spreads misogyny, fuels hostility, harassment, and even violence towards women. Worsen mental health. Men feel lonelier, angrier, and unable to form healthy relationships. Political radicalization. Aligns with MAGA and alt-right narratives, easing recruitment into extremism, and lost growth. Instead of finding community and purpose, men get trapped in echo chambers of insecurity and aggression. And to me, that is the biggest thing, is constantly feeling like, if I listen to this song, like literally when I was in middle school, if I liked a Nicki Minaj song, they would tell me, oh, that's gay. Or, oh, that's for girls.
Because you like a song?
Exactly.
That's toxic. So it becomes a cycle then.
Pisses me off.
Mm-hmm. So you're insecure as a male man. So you go to a group, you identify and you insert yourself or you surround yourself with people, and then it just perpetuates the insecurity cycle.
And they would literally tell me, like one day, I just ended up telling them, you know, I really enjoy watching Sierra's video more than a Lil Wayne video.
Yeah, I don't want to look at dude.
and they would make the argument, well, there's girls in the video. Yeah, they are. But
but I want to see Beyonce.
Yeah.
Not some
It's nice to see women in charge instead of them just being in the background dancing.
Yeah.
You know, at the direction of whatever the male star says. So this is what, you know, I guess because we didn't grow up in a house that perpetuated that kind of shit.
Daddy
but
wasn't
this
like
shit
that.
just works on my nerves. Everything is being called gay. They would call my mannerisms, the way I move my hands, gay. They would call the apparently men can't eat bananas now. They call
Seriously?
They have to call hot dogs glizzies, and you can't eat that a certain way. What the fuck? I look like eating a hot dog with a fucking fork and knife. What kind of dumb shit is that?
Are you being for real?
How is the name hot dog? Sus.
I don't fucking know. And yeah.
So men can't eat hot dogs or bananas because I think that they're focused too much on phallic symbols.
Yes.
So
why is that always on your mind?
Why is dicks always on your mind?
I thought you was doing algo speak.
I forget.
I said phallic symbol and then you said dick.
Oh, I didn't know what that
You
meant.
know what?
But
at this moment in time, I'm saying fuck it. We
Yeah.
said we was gonna tell it like it is.
yeah,
So
and I'm
go
gonna tell it like it is. Why are y'all so infatuated with male body parts? Because I could guarantee you, this is the first time I ever thought about it today. This is the first time I ever thought about it this week. I don't think about that shit. So why the fuck are y'all? And then I watch these red pillars and people who subscribe to that, like, I believe, in my opinion, Aiden fucking Ross. Who is he surrounded by in these rooms where he doing shit? Men. So y'all just in a
Echo chamber.
echo chamber, surrounded by other dudes. Y'all ain't got no females around. They got me doing it.
Oh Lord. See?
You don't have no girls around. So that, to me, that tells me more about you than it does about anybody else.
and they can't build a relationship.
Let me bring the woman's perspective. I've only seen one video, and it was in a previous episode where y'all showed me this guy, Aiden
Sniffing
Ross.
ass.
Right. And if, given what I saw in that video, if I'm a young woman, I don't want to be around him.
One girl went there and she was
And
like,
I
the
just
whole
know-
room was musty.
I know. I was
So
just
you
about to
can't
say
even
that,
take a
'cause
bath?
it looked like it.
Really, it did. It looked very nasty and nasty.
It smelled like, but that's
mean-
it.
Cameron.
Well, there go the algo speak. Okay, so it says why it matters. Moving on.
It is so limited, the things that I can say, and I don't know until it comes out.
Mocking or ignoring these men only pushes them deeper into toxic spaces like fresh and fuck, as Cameron call them. So to counteract this, we need to be inclusive, we need to have inclusive, supportive spaces where men can feel seen and valued without hostility towards women.
So are they recommending that you don't call out this type of behavior?
I don't know if they're recommending that.
I
mean, personally, I think that a lot of guys fall victim to that kind of rhetoric.
Because they don't have
Because
the role
they
model.
don't have
and then
role
these people
models.
become the model that they
Yep.
imitate.
So
And they
attack
feel like
the false role model,
they feel afraid.
not the people subscribe to it. That's who we need to focus on with our opposition. Because the people who fall victim to it, they truly don't know any better.
Yep.
And we want to help guide them in the right direction and not talk down to them and not be mean to them. But people like Myron Gaines,
It's very sinister because they know right from wrong. And they know what the fuck they doing. And they doing it to
and
make
he's
money.
pushing this course on how to be a high value man or whatever the fuck. And
A
you're
course?
profiting. Yeah. He's profiting
The
off
grift.
It's grifting. Not only is he getting these views from berating women, he has said the N-word openly.
I don't know what he looked like. He not black?
He don't look black.
Oh, okay.
To me. And he is just a outright asshole to get views. So he's getting the views and he's selling this course. Mm-hmm. So he's just grifting off of the real insecurities that men have. Yes. That nobody is disputing.
And nobody is addressing.
Women aren't disputing it, but we as a whole, everybody as a whole is not addressing it. Mm-hmm. And that's where the Democratic Party fell short. And David Hogg was right in what he said, and people attacked him for it, but he was right.
Yeah, I agree with what he said. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they should have, drummed him out, but I don't think that's the last you're going to hear about him. I think he's going to...
He needs to run for something.
Yeah, I think so.
I just feel like at this point, we have to... Look, first of all, we're in a society that rewards the behaviors of people like Fresh and Fit. And that's what the algorithm promotes. Mm-hmm. Because the sensationalism wins. The more sensational you are, the more views you get, the more attention you get. And it's kind of like that. It's like an age-old thing. When we was toddlers, if we threw a tantrum in the store, if I would just start getting on the floor and telling mama I wanted this toy, give me the toy, and screaming, I wasn't getting the fucking toy. Mm-hmm. I was going to get something else too. Mm-hmm. But this is what society has turned into. Mm-hmm. The person who screams the loudest, says the most outlandish shit, gets rewarded with money. If you look at
the Trump effect?
Yeah, but it had to exist.
That's what he does.
But Trump it had to exist before Trump, because how did Trump do it? If it didn't already exist, how did he take advantage of it? When I think about it,
he really is the symptom. He's not the cause of it. He's the symptom of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We end up with him because we have perpetuated this.
Yep.
And I finally was able to watch Idiocracy.
I was finally able to watch it.
And it was uncanny that a movie made in the early 2000s is so
relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing the warning signs of it. And if we don't get a handle on this, we are going to end up just like that. I don't know if it's still free on YouTube, but I watched it free on YouTube. Y'all find Idiocracy and watch it. It is so relevant and so uncanny on how relevant it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to watch it.
That's scary.
I'm kind of scared to watch it, but I'm gonna try to watch it. So, before we move on to the next topic, y'all, go ahead on and watch this video showing how toxic these red pill bros are.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity is a term that was invented by women nobody wants to
Men and women were very different. We have opposing goals. Like girls are trying to, get resources, time, attention out of guys. Guys are trying to get sex. And when women lose leverage, guess what? They have no power because that's their only fucking power. One person in the relationship, whoever cares less has the leverage. And we want the guy to always care less.
We're seeing male influencers are playing off of young impressionable men's insecurities and frustrations to redirect that rage towards women.
Women's value is 100% determined by the way that they look. Men age like wine, women age like milk.
So no woman is special, but yet you guys have a whole podcast dedicated how to get women.
If you got a girl, she has an Instagram, as well as maybe sexy photos of herself on the internet, that is cheating. I don't give a what anybody says. That is cheating.
Is this the best a man can get?
Grandiloquence, a lofty, high-flown style of talking that has a lot of fluff but may lack substance. It's too grand to be eloquent, so grandiloquence is usually annoying. Well, this ought to be fun. The alpha male, the playa, the top G, the pimp or get pimped party. What the f do all these words coming out of my mouth conjure? Toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity refers to the notion that some people's idea of manliness perpetuates domination, homophobia, and aggression. This idea that men need to act tough and avoid showing all emotion can be harmful to their mental health and can have serious consequences for society, which is how it became known as toxic masculinity. Now, is this trendy phrase exposing an alarming downturn in the psychological development of some men? Yes, it's a problem. Are there inherent flaws in the phrase where we see it being used as a blanket term to describe all men? Also, yes, that's a problem. By far the worst thing we do to males by making them feel they have to be hard is that we leave them with very fragile egos.
So I
My
learned
favorite saying, exact the motherfucking Lee.
in my teens not to give a fuck. I'm not proving to nobody that I'm masculine or hard. I'm Trey.
Step to me and see what happened. That's how
Fuck
I
around
feel.
and find out.
You could look at me and say, "Oh, he's soft." Bitch.
So y'all should definitely go and watch the rest of what Swoop had to say in her documentary. You could put that in the description, huh? Cam?
Yeah,
So that
I
they
will.
could easily get to it. All right. So now here's President Obama and forever First Lady Michelle Obama and her brother Craig Robinson on their podcast, IMO, talking about the problem with influencers like Fresh and Fit.
Stealing fuck.
And then the other show that people are talking about, Adolescence, which I haven't watched yet, which it gets into sort of the misogyny that young boys are exposed to,
and the online, you know,
the manosphere.
they're getting their parenting.
They're getting their
online.
parenting
They're getting their
from-
notions of manhood
from
extreme.
Extremists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
extremists.
Well,
And now we have President Obama putting what we've talked about today in perspective.
and the second thing I think you learn to do when you're in that situation is, all right, I got to sort of, I have to adopt role models. I got to piece them together and get a sense of, all right, what does it mean to be a man? Now, later on, as I got older, you'd start recognizing that some of the ideas about manhood that were being given to us back in the 70s and the 80s, not all of them were great, right?
Can I ask you both to talk about what manhood meant for you? You know, what it meant for you when you were little boys coming up, what you thought it was, and what you then came to understand it to actually be?
Well, I don't remember maybe when I was a really young child, other than the idea that guys were strong, they didn't whine, they were tough.
They were expected to go to work.
They worked
and provide,
right,
and protect.
Yes.
I mean, and I think back about Dad. I think when I'm thinking about Dad as a role model, I remember the fact that here you have a man who has MS, and he's getting up and he's going to work absolutely every day.
Right.
And he is not complaining. That's another thing. Men didn't complain.
You don't
back
complain.
then.
You're stoic.
You were. Yeah, I love that word, stoic. Coach Carmody used to use that all the time, stoic. But our dad never complained. He never got up. He had a sense of humor. That was another thing that you learned from guys, is that you needed a sense of humor.
Right.
But one of the most important things that I remember is that you got along.
Got along
You
in
got
the
along.
world, period.
Period. You got along with the other guys you were with. You got along with your teammates. You got along with your coworkers. Nobody wanted to be considered a jerk.
That is true. Some of the definitions of manhood, I think, were negative, right? You don't whine, you don't cry.
No emotion.
You're not a jerk. I do like the thing you brought up, though, about being a protector. because for some reason, that part of it, I think, appealed to me. And it, at its best, it then counterbalanced the idea of being strong, right? Like, you're strong not to pick on people, right? Not to be a bully, not to dominate others. Instead, it's strength in order to protect, right? And for me, a lot of being a man was being self-sufficient, right?
Yeah, I think that's a very good clip to sum it up, because it seems like what's being perpetuated now is just the complaining. I mean, the podcasters that you mentioned, Myron and whatever, they
Ren and Stimpy.
they're trying to say what a man should be, but you're not really acting like men, because you're whining about. And maybe I should say they're not acting like adults, because adults don't whine.
They're not acting like emotionally mature,
complain.
stable people.
Yeah.
One thing that I would say I learned, or that my dad taught me, that you and him raised me, is to be responsible, accountable to my actions, and empathetic and caring to other people.
Because you saw that from your daddy.
Yeah.
He was an empathetic person. He cared about people. He especially cared about young people.
Yeah.
Just like your papa.
So I think, to President Obama's point, for me, that is a key point in my manhood, is being a protector and being there when things go to hell. Like when you got sick, it was important to me to step in and fill your role that you have in running the house, running your role in the business. It was important that I held it down for you. That was what I was trying to do.
You did.
And taking care of you while you was in the hospital, making sure that they were treating you well. And I found that to be very hard to do both of those things, but I did it. I think where that toxic, stereotypical stuff comes in about, like what Barack said about being stoic. You know, I always looked to him because, you know, for most of my childhood, he was the president. And at least the president that I paid attention to.
He was the first.
I was born under
president.
Bill Clinton and then, you know, George W. Bush for 8 years, but
you were young then.
I wasn't really paying attention to politics back then.
President Obama was the first president that I knew what the president was.
Yeah. So I would feel like I was less than a man when things would bother me. I think I would even say I got to be more like Barack, you know. Always have that cool, calm, and collected demeanor. And that is something that I strive to have, because I do think there's a peace. If you could live in that space, you'll have more peace. But I have to realize that everybody's personality is different.
I'm to the other extreme.
What?
If you piss me off, I'm gonna tell you pissed me off.
Yeah, but
there's
I'm
nothing
more
wrong with
talking
being
about
straightforward.
I'm more talking about like things like anxiety, you know. And what I found with myself is that my anxiety, first I had to, in going to therapy, realize and have them tell me, yes, you do have anxiety. And I thought because I wasn't a person, stereotypically, who would, you know, freak out at things.
That's not.
But that's one characterization of anxiety. That's not the kind of anxiety I have. The kind of anxiety I have is a lot of PTSD from shit that happens, and the kind of anxiety that keeps me up at night. The anxiety that, you know, I can handle a crisis well, but after that crisis, that shit's gonna probably haunt me for 10 years. I'm going to have dreams about it, and then I'm going to wake up and be analyzing them dreams and be like, what the fuck did that mean? So that's the kind of anxiety I have. So again, it's all in what society says a man is supposed to be and supposed to have. And then the examples that I have from my grandfathers of never seeing them be emotional, not even like during Katrina. And I can't imagine being an adult, especially at the stage that they were in their lives, having worked for everything and then being told, oh, I have to start over again.
Yeah.
You know, so moving on to the final part in this episode that we want to convey is what can be done to counteract this toxicity that we keep talking about. So for one thing, we should address the pain without judgment. So that's echoing what we was talking about earlier. Acknowledge the struggles, the mental health, the isolation, economic stress. Because one thing about what Barack said is the being a provider. That's harder to do in this day and age. And when you can't do it, you really do feel like less of a man.
Yeah.
And because of all of my ailments and situations, you know, I've been forced out of the regular work. What you call it? It's getting late to the end of the episode.
Scenario.
I can't find my words. Work industry.
Yeah.
We all can't find our words. So I basically have to be an entrepreneur. And for everybody who out there who's an entrepreneur, you know the struggles that come with that shit. And you know that it's up and it's down.
It takes a lot,
and it takes a lot of grit
discipline.
and discipline and disappointments and being told no and then saying I'm still gonna go and
dealing
make
with
it happen.
uncertainty.
Yes.
And that can fuel anxiety.
Uncertainty and anxiety does not mix. So validating the pain that some men feel, but clarify that women and minorities aren't
it's
the cause
not
of the problem.
zero sum. It is not. You can acknowledge that women should be paid for equal work.
Yes.
They should be equally paid for equal work, while also recognizing the plight of men in today's age where we aren't able to find jobs.
And then you blame women, like going off of what you just said, they blame women for taking over and femininity and, oh, I see more women working than men. Well, have we ever thought about it? Everything, especially in the United States of America, but the saying money makes the world go round is true. So even outside of this country, money makes the world go round. Has anybody ever thought about the fact that maybe businesses are hiring more women because they know they're discriminating against women and paying them less and it's cheaper?
I hadn't thought about it that way, Trey.
So if you have 5 guys and 6 girls, you're probably going to find a way to hire the girl so you could pay her less and save money on your payroll, which is the biggest expense
Now, isn't that
for any
hypocritical?
business.
In the grand scheme of what we're talking about, you're saying that you're tired of women taking over, but yet some of these companies, if that's what's going on, they're going to hire women because they can pay them less.
And then
That's a
Sid from fucking Ice Age looking dude, Myron, think women have more privileges because they can, quote, sell their body to make money.
men sell their bodies. You don't see men. Y'all,
I'm pretty sure they have men on OnlyFans.
I'm sure.
So exactly
But
what are you talking
men
about?
probably are a bigger market for paying for shit like that. But are you blaming women for that? To me, that's more of a man problem because you're creating the market for it.
but there's a market for sex in general. Sexuality sells. You see men in advertisements, scantily clad. You know, I mean, it's women like to look at men's muscles. I mean, it's not just women. Men put themselves out there to like Instagram. I mean, you see men pumping weights, and they're not just doing that to show you how to
wearing them fucking gray sweatpants. I know what y'all doing. And it's like,
it's
why
a whole
is your
page of men on
mentality-
Instagram wearing Wrangler jeans.
Yeah, why is your mentality, Myron, so ass backwards? Who hurt you?
So how widespread do y'all think those types of attitudes are?
It's pretty widespread because that is what has taken over the media. I mean, when I was a kid, you had a few channels on cable driving what you thought about. You know, what you thought about sex, what you thought about relationships, what the image of a man was. You know, it was Disney, it was Nick.
So then it's the toxicity of social media then.
Yes.
Which is
Because now
in which that
kids,
goes back to what we were saying in another episode about how this medium, you know,
kids are watching
infects
YouTube. They watching TikTok.
influences.
They're not watching cable. So the problem with that though is, even though, you know, there's documentaries about how toxic and bad Dan Schneider was with Nick.
The foot guy?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Those things still went through groups of people for approval before they was disseminated to children's minds. Now you have a whole platform with no oversight.
Right.
And you could put out whatever you want to put out. So how many young men, young kids is Fresh and Fuck reaching?
Yeah. And I just want to say, don't fall for it, y'all. They try to portray themselves as the most alpha male men when they not. Myron couldn't fucking handle.
Well, where are they significant
Brittany.
others?
Yeah.
Do they have
They couldn't.
I mean, I don't know about them. They might have.
They don't
but
have
I
no
don't see them.
successful relationships. And they couldn't handle Brittany Renner, I think her name is.
Oh. I know who she is.
Putting him in his place. And he couldn't handle it so bad, he edited her out of the clip. And made it look like he got the best of her. But no, she called him a bitch ass nigga to his face.
Well, good.
Wow.
I was about to say, she not one to really fuck with.
She really ain't, but he don't want people
I don't know who it
Did
is y'all talking about.
Did he not do his homework? I don't really remember
Probably
what
not.
she do. I just know of her. Y'all, I'm sorry. I can't think. Y'all probably be like, what the hell are they talking about? Why y'all don't know this person or that person? But that's not my strong suit.
I think her @ is Bundle of Brittany.
Yeah. I know I follow her. I just can't remember for the life of me how I followed her or what. So forgive me, y'all. Okay, so
where
let's
were
see.
we?
Building the positive, inclusive spaces, creating online and offline communities where men can connect without shame or hostility. Support mentorship programs, men's mental health circles, brotherhood initiatives, and teach empathy and growth, which is what we just talked about. Teach emotional and relationship skills. Schools, workplaces, and media must teach boys and men to express emotions, resolve conflict, and build healthy relationships. Normalize vulnerability, therapy, and emotional literacy as strengths.
So how do we do that though in like the school system? Teach.
Well, you gotta have more male role models, which is another thing Barack Obama talked about on Michelle Obama's podcast. Is the fact that you don't have a lot of men going in to be teachers.
Yeah.
So they don't.
I
Like
never
kids
had
don't
a male
have.
teacher until 6th grade.
Yeah. Now, at my high school, I had a lot of male teachers. And I think that it did, even though we had a father in the house, it does, like what Barack said, make a difference to have different examples of male role models. So it does play a part. And in elementary school, I only had one male teacher. So you don't have a lot of that. And now with the disinvestment in education.
And Miss A1's sauce.
Oh my goodness.
The disinvestment in the Pell Grant. So you're not even making it possible for people to become teachers, and you're not making it worthwhile for them to become teachers, because if they become teachers, you're not giving them the supplies they need to run the classroom. You're not giving them a salary where they could live and
a livable salary.
A lot of that stuff that you see in teachers' classrooms came out of their own pocket.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. We're going to have a breakdown of society if we keep going down this route. And it all starts with people individually understanding what needs to be changed. Because then you have to go out and get the leaders who are going to implement that change. You can't just keep saying it has to start from the top down. President is important, but it starts with
school board.
Who's in Congress.
It starts with your local society
School
and
board
surroundings.
elections.
I mean, how much of Barack Obama's presidency did this country waste?
Nah.
I mean,
6 years of it.
Look at what he did in 2 years. So think about everything else that could have been done. What could the United States look like right now if healthcare was just one of his major accomplishments?
I mean, he has had divided government from the 2010 midterms on for the rest of his presidency. And then y'all subsequently got mad at him because he didn't get more done. And you got black people asking questions like, what has Barack Obama done for black people?
Yeah,
And
but
now
black people, you didn't give Barack Obama what he needed. Just like you didn't give Joe Biden what he needed to do, what he wanted to do.
In 2016, y'all went and gave the Republicans the House, the Senate, and the White House.
And now the consensus
And now the
is
Supreme Court.
the system doesn't work. Well, the
system is you.
The system isn't working because everybody's forgetting about the we the people part.
Right.
That's the part
We
that
the
makes
boss,
our system
not them.
work.
We the people are the boss, and we has conceded that.
So the next point is to offer better role models. Elevate men who embody healthy masculinity, empathetic, emotionally intelligent, collaborative viewpoints, and support creators who counter toxic narratives and model respect for relationships, which is what we're trying to do here.
Which is what we're trying to do here, right? But I see a real problem because the people who have been elevated now, thanks to the disengagement that has happened over the past decades. Case in point, you have Pete Hegseth systematically firing all of the decorated female military officers from different branches. And these, because quote unquote DEI, these soldiers have seen combat. They have gone through the same training that the men have gone through. They have excelled in an environment that didn't all the time want them there. They didn't get any special DEI. Pete Hegseth is a DEI hire.
What's your bona fide?
But you have fired all of these. So most of the women. Somebody's show I watched on the weekend. I think it was Velshi. It might not have been him, but it was somebody that I was watching. They went through about 7 or 8 women, female soldiers that he have fired. And each one of them had no less than one, but most of them had 2 master's degrees in pertinent disciplines that would make them better at leading other soldiers. There was specific to military stuff that they had master's degrees in. Some had masters in education, whatever. But they were decorated soldiers. So they not only did they intellectually know what they were doing, they proved they knew what they were doing by excelling at what they were asked to do.
Yeah.
And you got rid of them.
That's the name of the game for the Trump administration. So it says, calling out and debunking the harmful ideologies, promote alternative, constructive, and non-misogynistic content, and push for better mental health access, education reform, workplace flexibility, and economic opportunities for men, and show that this can coexist with gender equity and that it's not zero-sum. And avoid shaming or humiliating men drawn into these spaces. Meet them where they are, hold them accountable, but approach with respect and honesty. And I would say with that, yeah, that's a good message, but especially for women out there, how can they approach them with respect and honesty if they're being disrespected?
Yeah.
You know, I'm all for giving people what they give you.
It takes men like us to counteract the bullshit from men like that.
So in closing, to reverse this trend as a society, we need to acknowledge the pain that these men are feeling and their humanity and offer better paths than what MAGA, Fresh and Fit, and the Red Pill sell. Empower them to grow, connect, and define masculinity in healthier ways for themselves and all of us around. Right. So, with that being said, y'all, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank y'all for watching, especially for making it to the end. Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials at Pragmotiv and connect with us online at the website pragmotiv.com. You can also subscribe to get bonus content, including our bonus episodes, which we will be resuming today at pragmotivplus.com. We're going to be expounding on this conversation and talking more about how does this whole thing with the toxic masculinity and men feeling displaced affect dating. So we're going to be doing that over at pragmotivplus.com. So if you want to hear about that conversation, head on over there. For all of you who have subscribed, head over to pragmotivplus.com where we will continue the conversation. I just said all of that. All right. We appreciate y'all. Until next time, remember, you got to stay prag motivated. Peace.
Peace.